Hello everyone, I'm Baltmatrix, and today we're going to get tough. That's with AC Toys Tough Trailer. Yeah, this has been sitting on my shelf for a while, and my good buddy Thu has already reviewed it like 2 years ago. But guess what? It only got released in 2020. Yeah, I don't know why it took AC Toys forever to get this figure out. I love the overall look of this thing. The blue and the silver just work incredibly well. That big red triangle on his chest is great, and the head sculpt is real good. Like, seriously, that head sculpt is really nice, and this figure feels like a Transformer. Tough Trailer is also pretty darn big. I mean, here's MP10 Prime. And for something a little more recent, here's Leader Class Studio Series Grimlock, or 86 Grimlock. Yeah, about the same size as a Studio Series Leader Class figure. The figure has a very nice, chunky aesthetic to it, and definitely feels like a figure that appeared in the 80s, but there's a lot more technology than what we had in the 80s. The overall look is good, though I can't help feeling that it should be red for some reason.
It's because this figure, or this character, was originally based off of the 1986 Super Sentai Flashman series, Titan Boy. That figure was then re-released in the Machine Robo Revenge of Kronos toy line with a slight remold.
Now, Tough Trailer's original appearance was in the Revenge of Kronos movie, Machine Robo Revenge of Kronos movie, in the 80s. And this is a rendition of that character. Now, the original show had the character with the shoulder stacks pointing forward as guns, and the original animation had him being a lot more squat and wide than the figure we have in front of us. Also, I don't know if they actually showed the gun, because there aren't that many images I've been able to find of that movie, but we have this big arse cannon that splits apart into multiple configurations. So we've got a bazooka front, we've got a three-barrel Vulcan cannon, and then we've got what appears to be just a stock in the back. And then we have this section that can fold out, and we could just start moving different bits around, and he can hold all of these components with no problems. Oh, and he can also take this barrel and put it on the bottom of one of his arms. Specifically to attach this to the bottom, it's one of these peg holes on that peg. And it could go on either forearm. I just am doing this one for the review. So, like that. And then with a little bit of part swapping and moving around, you could give him this nice bazooka, and the little handle pops out so he can hold it with the other hand, so he doesn't, hit himself in the face or something. Tough Trailer has quite a bit of posability. Head is on a ball joint. The shoulders are on a ball joint, though I am seeing a lot of things online stating that the shoulders pop off, and that does happen to me. Swivel just above the elbow, roughly almost 90-degree bend at the elbow, another swivel for the forearm, and then a swivel for the actual wrist. There is torso swivel, but it's very limited because, well, hood gut, that's why. So that means he can't kick forward that much at all, but he can kick back nearly 90 degrees, and on these nice ratchets can kick out a lot. Thigh swivel, bend at the knee, and then ball joint in the ankle, but it is, again, slightly limited just due to the chunk. I quite like this robot mode. I think it is a lot of fun. It's not perfect. I would love for maybe the hood bit to collapse a little bit so you could get some more posability with the legs pushing forward, but well. Now, the figure does come with a cage that doubles as a stand, but there are no directions on how to put that together, so yeah, I don't normally also put my fingers on stands, so here are some pictures on how that looks. So let's talk about some things that I actually don't particularly care for with Tough Trailer. The first of which is this backpack. I don't like the backpack. It just looks gaudy and bad, and I'm not sure how they would fix it, because I just think it looks bad. Two, the fact that the tummy here, which I've mentioned before, comes down too far and prevents any kind of movement forward for the hips. And then the hips themselves they're ratchets. They're good, but they're almost too tight, if that makes any sense. And lastly is the actual material that this figure is made out of. It feels weird. It has a very, very strange in-hand feel. And I don't know if that's because that this figure is actually made out of the nylon plastic. It kind of feels like it is. All of the blue plastic specifically feels really, really strange. It's really hard to describe because there's almost a texture and oiliness to it that feels real bad when you compare it to something from, say, like Hasbro or any of the other Machine Robo figures. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I'm just not sure. So, folks, if you have this figure down in the comments, let me know, because I don't know what to make of it, because I'm kind of worried that this thing isn't going to stand the test of time. And here we have the truck mode, which works pretty well. It's a cool looking truck. If you were a humanoid, I have no idea how you would get in and out of this thing. You need like a super stepladder or something, but it works. It's a definitely non-Earth mode truck, and I like it. You can store all of the weapon on this figure in vehicle mode. The two barrels fit nicely underneath on these pegs, and then you can just slide the one cannon end in the opening back there and then attach it to the stock like that. Otherwise it's open and hollow. I don't know if this actually works with Earthrise Prime's trailer because, quite frankly, I cannot find my Earthrise Optimus Prime or his trailer. Ironically, it does kind of work with MP10 Prime's trailer, even if it does look a little bit small. It doesn't hook in, mind you, but in terms of scale, it kind of works. In terms of size, Tough Trailer's vehicle mode is pretty darn big. It is the equivalent of what used to be a leader class figure back in the day. Here it is with Siege Prime. Siege Prime is kind of dwarfed by Tough Trailer a little bit in terms of proportion, but I mean, this is an Earth-style, Earth-ish style over-the-cab, or over-engine cab, where this is much more sci-fi. You've got your, I'm assuming the drive wheels are actually the front drive wheels here, and then you've got this giant rear end and this huge engine up front. It's definitely imposing, but it's actually not that much bigger than Siege Prime. Now, before we end the video review, I do want to talk about this transformation. I do not like this transformation. It is not fun. It is very annoying. Thankfully, the directions are pretty much easy to read, but there are a couple of spots, especially when dealing with the rear end of the vehicle mode, that leave me scratching my head going, wait, why was it designed this way? Simply because this rear quarter panel, this section here, and this section that the wheel actually pegs into get in the way of the transformation. And this is where the actual flexibility of the plastic actually helps the figure, because you kind of have to finagle things out of the way in order to get the arms correctly transformed and moved to the back under the hitch section here in the back. So yeah, I'm not a fan of the transformation. I'm a fan of the result, just not of the process of getting to it. Overall, Tough Trailer is pretty cool, but I am hesitant to recommend it to anybody other than hardcore giant robot fans. And the reason is simple. I'm not sure if this is that great of a figure. I pulled out a couple of the other figures, like Buggy Man, or Buggy Robo, Shuttle Robo, and I'm not doing a comparison here, since pictures of that already exist, and I'm short on time. But I like the figure, but it doesn't feel right. And I'm not sure that anyone is going to like this figure as much as I do, other than folks that are already fully bought into the line. The worst figure in this Machine Robo line is far and away Bike Robo, and it shares a bit of that DNA with that figure that I don't like. The plastic just doesn't feel right, flat out. It's just odd, and I'm having a lot of difficulty expressing or articulating what is exactly wrong with the plastic on this figure. But it doesn't feel right. In fact, it feels worse than... Now, the plastic that I keep going on and on about feels very similar to the white plastic that is on this guy. In fact, it also feels softer than this plastic, this white plastic that is universally reviled. So there is that. So that's why I'm kind of hesitant to recommend it. I still like it. I purchased the figure at the Big Bad Toy Store. I still think it's an okay figure, but for the cost, I expected a little bit higher quality. So folks, let me know what you think of Tough Trailer down in the comments. Also, head down to the description of this video review, because not only do I have links to this figure, so you can pick it up at the Big Bad Toy Store if you feel like it, I've also got a link to Thu's video review of this guy from 2 years ago, 2017, 2018, maybe 2019, I don't remember. What is time? I've been in the basement for the last year, and I haven't really gone upstairs all that much. Anyway, let me know what you think of the figure down in the comment. Thank you so much for watching. I have been Baltmatrix. Be sure to hit those like and subscribe buttons, and that bell thing, you know the deal. Thanks a lot. See you next time.